The Highland Hills tower, the skies. What the shadows they cast draw the spirits near. After all,
Welcome back, everybody. I've been looking forward to this show. Obviously, we're joined by my co-host Drew from Drew's Paranormal Vlog, and we're joined tonight by Dakota because I need his expertise in this show tonight because of obviously the subject Rosslyn Chapel. You know, but yeah, honestly, Dakota's knowledge has got to come into this about Rosslyn Chapel because it's going to be a wee bit longer tonight. The show. Maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes longer, because Rosslyn Chapel is just so, oh God, there's just so much here. But there's a very interesting side here, and it's the musical side of it. And you know what I'm talking about, Drew? The musical side of it. And I think that I didn't really know how to explain it. Whereas Dakota here, because he's very intelligent and he knows stuff about music and he knows stuff about sound waves and stuff like that. That's why he's here. Right. So who's all in the chat? There's my mystical love and light. Hello.
Just quite a show we had with her last night.
Yes, it is. And it was a brilliant show. Here's Dobie's Socks. Dobie's been very interested in this because she messaged me on Go Squad Scotland YouTube. She's looking forward to this. Yeah. Who else have we got in? We've got people watching on Facebook too. Oh, there's Stephanie. I might not call you Stephen.
Yes, we've got Stephanie. Welcome, Stephanie.
There's All Things Healing with Heather.
Oh, lovely. Welcome in, Heather.
Welcome in. So we'll let it a few minutes fill up for a few minutes. So, Dakota, how are you after your last night's show? How was that as an experience for you?
That was definitely interesting. Like I said on the show, it's kind of the first time I actually did most of the talking.
I know.
That was weird.
I know. I'm actually in shock, actually. I was sitting there, I was like, when's this guy going to shut up?
Now you know how I feel most of the time.
It was good to hear Dakota speak.
It was actually really good to hear. Because he doesn't say that much. He's kind of like a Jedi warrior. He just sits there quietly. Looking at you with his eye, you know, it was why. Two eyes.
What else has got to look at you?
Sitting there with one big bulging eye, you know, pulsating away. And I would like to see everybody in Parapost and Facebook. Thank you for coming on and watching us, you know. Except for the person that banned me last week when I was watching somebody's show.
I know who you're that about.
I know.
Thank you, Christopher. What did you say?
Was it Friday night? It was Friday night. Was it Friday night? What night was that message say?
Dude, I work nights. My days blur.
I said
the other day.
Brian was quick on the trot and he unblocked me. But don't worry, he says he knows who it is. So he'll let him deal, you know. So.
It's maybe been a slip of the finger.
I don't know. But we'll leave it and we'll see what happens, you know. But anyway, I would also like to say we've got some very interesting shows coming up on Bald and Bonkers on Saturday. What are we talking about on Saturday, Dakota?
We don't really have anything planned yet for Saturday, man.
Yeah, we don't. Oh. But
excuse me, I've been waiting for updates about family emergency situations. I've been busy.
Terrible, isn't it? It's absolutely terrible.
My grandmother was having surgery, you asshole.
Oh,
terrible.
Christopher, sometimes life gets in the way.
I know. I'm only joking. But anyway, we do have Jenny coming on and we do have Nando coming on. So on Sunday, so that should be very, very interesting.
We're gonna have to start putting a disclaimer: we're not responsible for your therapy bills.
I know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, but further, look at everybody's laughing in the chat. Everybody loves the humour in me and Dakota, you know. It's just badness. But anyway, so tonight's subject is Rosslyn Chapel, ladies and gentlemen. I've downloaded about, good God, about 20 or 30. I actually got, there's a limit. I didn't know this in stream here. There's actually a limit to the amount of pictures you can actually upload.
Really?
I accidentally selected 400.
Oh my
Why were you uploading
That is a
400?
bit much.
You could just
Right.
screen share, dude. Screen share.
No, I'll
Mr.
admit.
High Speed Internet.
I know, right? What I did was, right, you know how you can use your mouse, but I've not got a mouse because it's a laptop, right? And you can select them all. So I just held it in until I up the page.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I went click. And there was loads of these wee circles, loads and loads of these wee circles. But it wasn't just Rosslyn Chapel. It was like all the other pictures for all the other shows that I'd ever
Right.
done. I could just do it, delete. I was there for about half an hour, you know. Oh, yeah, there's Pat. Leave it. But anyway, let's here we go here. So Rosslyn Chapel tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the pictures? The ones that I didn't delete. Right, here we go. So, what's your knowledge, Dakota, on Rosslyn Chapel? What is your knowledge on this beautiful building?
Besides what you keep rambling on about like a broken record, that there's a lot of associations with secret societies. You keep mentioning that there's a belief that the structures on the inside may actually have some sort of musical tone to it.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to bring up first. Right? A lot of people, there's so many theories out there.
I read that, to be honest.
I mean, it's no this, that, right? We'll jump to this quickly, the new. It's got so many history with the Knights Templars. It's got so much.
There's all symbolism in the place to let you understand if anybody's never done any research on it. Rosslyn Chapel is full of symbolism inside. Even if you have watched the Da Vinci Code, the movie where the Rosslyn Chapel is in there, you see all the beautiful symbols on the walls. So it really does. A lot of people think there is codes to be broken in the place. So we'll let Christopher go deeper into it though first.
Right. This is where I want to start off first. There's a lot of interesting stories. Obviously, there's the story of the trainee guy that did the work in the stone and they get murdered. But we'll jump into that later. What intrigues me is, why is this building so protected by the Knights Templar? Why did they do it? And I have noticed this. See where Rosslyn Chapel is, there's a lot of Knights Templar castles.
Yeah.
There was all surrounding the entire area. There was Templar Castle here. There was a Templar Castle there. Why is this place so special? Now they say it's the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was brought there, but I don't think the Holy Grail is what everybody thinks it is. I don't think it is the cup of Christ. I don't think. No. See, this place has got an underground caverns, but people don't realise this place has actually got a vault that's been sealed up since 1690. In 1690, they bricked it up with sandstone. And to this day, no one is allowed to go in there. They're not even allowed to put a camera in there. Why is that? Is there something dangerous? Is there something that's protected that's been hidden there? Now,
the psychic and things that went there has felt weird feelings when they stand there. Also, when they stand where the flagpoles and things, as they get a wobbly feeling as if they're sinking and things. So, is that an insight into going under?
See, I've done a lot of research into this place, and it's a place that's always fascinated. As Dakota says, I don't stop rambling about it. I've just been so interested. I have found, right now, the thing about this place is it's here for above. It doesn't look like a chapel, doesn't it? No.
No, really.
Because I mean, a lot of chapels and that have got graves and stuff like that, and it's got none of them, right? But it has got a vault. Now, it's positioned the wrong way for a church. A lot of churches mostly face like northeast. This doesn't. It's pointing in the different direction. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. Now, I downloaded maps of the building. Here we go. Wait till you see this. What's your thoughts on that?
Wow. 6 point pentagram.
Yeah,
The Merkabah.
pentagram. Yeah, and then we've got this one, which is quite interesting because it actually tells you that you've got the master pillar. That's the the beautiful one that's all carved, and then you've got the pillars down for it. Everything in this church has a meaning, but nobody can figure it out. And I think they've left these deliberately so as people can figure them out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the entrance to the vault. Now, I've found that photos in there, you're not allowed to take photos whatsoever in that vault. You're not allowed to take anything, nothing.
Yeah.
I actually looked it up, Dakota, because I was going to be going, and Drew, I was actually going to be going there soon, but you're not allowed to film or take pictures inside it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they say it's got something to do with the flash and all that kind of stuff, damaging the stonework, right?
I'm familiar with the flash photography being able to actually degrade gold.
That's right. But there's no gold in it. But there's no gold in there. So
they just don't want you taking pictures home to plan how to get inside.
Yeah. So
Further.
this is the main exit to the building. You've always got the Knights Templar across there, right? But this is what interests me the most, and this is, I think, wherein lies the puzzle. Now, I actually messaged Dakota about this last night before we actually went on to the show last night. Here's the cubes. Now, there's 215 cubes. Now, this is interesting. There's been experiments been done in the past. Now, I was going to try and get some of the music that was done, but it's copyrighted, so I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to get a copyright strike. But what I did find out, now what it is I think Dakota can help me here if I get this wrong. They put basically a metal plate down, and they pour sand on the metal plate, and they play frequencies through that. And every different frequency makes a different shape. It makes a different... Now, if you notice here, what's the little angel doing?
Praying.
No.
Playing a flute.
Playing a flute, right.
And it's not just that. There's different angels doing different things. There's different angels with violins and stuff like that.
Giving you a clue of what instrument to play.
Yes, yes. Now, I'll show you how many there is in a minute. Just let me try to find it. Now, that's one of the main pillars, and you know the story behind that, which we'll get to after, about the mace, and
the
killing
dragon.
his trainee. Yeah. But let me get to where are we? I'm trying to find the cubes. See the detail. Look at the cubes. Look at the way the cubes are. Every one of them is different. Every single cube you can see there is different.
Did you know as well that they actually do the 7 virtues and the 7 deadly sins as well around one of the archways and one of the themes? And they actually, 2 of them is wrong. They're in the back to front. Greed is where charity should be, and charity is where greed should be.
Yes.
Was it done deliberately?
Interesting. It's weird you say that, because have you heard of the Green Man? The Green Man at Rosslyn Chapel. I think there's 115 of them. There's over 100 of the Green Man. They're called the Green Men. And they're all the way round the inside and the outside of the church. Now, these are meant to mean they've got covered in leaves and that. And everyone's different. And they're meant to mean the autumn, spring. I think they've got a different meaning. I think they've got a meaning of genetics, right? And I'm going to get to my point on that shortly. I think they've got a different meaning because every one of them start off as young, all the way up to an old man. And one side of the building, the Green Men are all happy, and the outside they're all happy. But seeing the other side of the building, they're all classed as demons.
That's right.
They're all demonic demons. And they look weird. Some of them look like they've got goggles on. Some of them look like they've got goggles on, and they've got like jetpacks on. It's just so weird. But one side,
where it takes you to a different world, the opposite to that world, maybe.
Yeah, that's That's right. That's right. And here's them closer up, and you can see it's like notes if you could understand it in that kind of musical language. This is where Dakota comes in. Dakota.
It would have to. The photos that Chris is showing doesn't exactly show enough detail to get enough detail. But when it comes to how the stones are structured, the way they're carved, it'd be a lot like, you see padding on like studios where like musicians to help isolate it. That still awfully pixelated to be able to get a lot of detail, Christopher. Come on.
It was copyright free stuff. Copyright free stuff here. I had to get copyright free stuff because I didn't want to.
It did say in the website you're allowed to see the pictures. Don't know about copying them.
I think there's a clearer one there. I actually got a clearer one. Right, here's the clear ones. Right, there's the clear ones, right?
Like I said, even in stone, you can actually get the same effect that padding on, you would see on studio walls for musicians. And it's actually been seen on several occasions that if you hit certain frequencies just right from all directions, which is supposed to be where the tetrahedron or Merkaba comes into play, you can actually open up portals to other places.
Yes.
And there's plenty of beings out there that have been known to look human, but for some reason they're green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's so interesting that Dakota says that, because there has been experiments been done in Rosslyn Chapel, and the tones that have been made, they think, I mean, this is just scientifically thinking, they think that it could open a portal to a different dimension, right? Now, what I haven't to tell you is, and I found it out last night, I didn't care about it, but Rosslyn Chapel is built on a ley line, a very powerful ley line, because there's a lot of standing stones nearby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a chapel. I think, yes, it was repurposed to be a chapel, right? I think it was something. I think it's giving you a clue to what it is. I think the clues are in there. But I think whatever it is still there to this day. It is still in that building somewhere. I think it's under the ground. I don't know if it's a portal, but I think it's. I find it interesting because where is it? Where's that stone? That the one.
Did say it. There is rumoured to be a portal underneath it, on the altar. There's rumoured to be a portal underneath it, seemingly.
Now, there's been other people speculated too, right? See the tower there, that was I think that's the one that the Master Mason killed, the young Mason. I'm trying to find one of the old pictures.
Yeah, it was the dragons underneath it at the bottom.
One of them in particular is meant to can you know what DNA looks like?
Uh-huh.
If you look at it in a computer, and one of the this is one of the scientists. This is one of the top scientists, and he's dead now, sadly. But this is one of the guys that reckoned that what it meant. It was DNA. The green men are meant to mean a new beginning, a change in the seasons, right? What happens if it's something else? What happens if it's maybe the tones that resonate for it? Maybe there's a chamber below, and it's not just me that said this. There's top people out there that have come out with it. What happens if there's a chamber down there, and whatever it is gives you new life? Because let's face it, what does the Holy Grail do for you? What does it do?
Gives you life again, reborns you.
It gives you new life. Now, it was sealed up in 1690, right? The tomb was sealed up in 1690. That was the beginning of the kind of religious kind of revolution in this country, right? What happens if they seen that as a really bad thing, right? And that's why there's demons on one side. You see where I'm going with this? They seen that as like an evil thing. Because let's face it, Can
For
you
giving
imagine what
clues
you
to what it actually is.
can you imagine what you could do with a device that could basically keep you alive forever?
I know.
Mhm.
Think how powerful you could become.
Easily.
Yeah. I find it fascinating because I know this is pixelated, but there's 215 cubes.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is where Dakota comes in again, because the 215 is, I think it's a meaning of life. It's a meaning of angel. It's angelic love, right? And what was it you were saying, Dakota, about 215 last night?
Oh, God, Chris. Yeah, of course you do. It is believed to have some sort of numerological meaning. Could very well be where the frequency needs to start. There's a number of things that could be done, with it, but it's also supposed to represent harmony, power, creativity, change.
Yes,
it's something that you would definitely have to physically go there and poke around where you're not supposed to in order to find out.
Exactly. That's what we need to do. We need to poke around where we're not supposed to. You know?
You could walk around with a recorder inside. I mean, I know you're not allowed to film inside, but what about if you walked around with a recorder recording? You never know what you could pick up.
You know what I'd like to do, and I don't know if it'd be possible. To take the 250 stones and try and turn it into your own music, right? And then get 2 recorders, right? Play one of them, walk around inside it, playing it in your pocket, just very quietly, and have somebody else at the other end of the room with the other recorder listening, just to see if it picked up anything, if it any slight change. I mean, it's puzzled me, this place, and it's something I've always wondered about it. I mean, why would you go to great effort to do this? I mean, why?
The symbolism in the place is crazy as well. Let's talk about that. One of the things is, one of the symbolisms in it is with the 7 virtues and the 7 deadly signs archway, for example, is in the middle. It's got St. Peter and to the gates of heaven. So basically, he's in the middle. So he's telling you that whatever path you choose, that is what your end goal is to get to the gates of heaven, I suppose. And then there's other symbolisms as well. That's the skeletons, the dance of death is around the other archway, and it's to indicate to people that death is always wins in the end. So there's
I find that so interesting, because that's kind of like life and death again, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Everything revolves around life and death and the seasons,
indicating the afterlife or another life.
There's just something doesn't seem right. What do the guys in the chat? What do you guys think?
Has there anybody been there in the chat?
See, that's just an interesting one.
Maybe somebody's been there. You never know.
See, where is it? I'm trying to find this one. There's actually one of a Viking holding a tablet. Here we go. And what's your thoughts on that?
Wow. So that could indicate scripture of some kind.
That's a Viking, though.
I know. That's the crazy bit about it.
I mean, the Vikings didn't believe in Jesus. They didn't follow Jesus. They were Nordic, weren't they? They were like Valhalla and stuff like that kind of stuff.
That's actually a common misconception. There's Muslim Catholic Vikings throughout history, but you have to also acknowledge is that when it comes to the dragons in particular, they aren't necessarily physical representations of some sort of creature. They've actually been known throughout several cultures to represent the energy lines of the earth itself. It's like Jotmungandr, the world serpent. That's supposed to be one of those representations. And in fact, there's certain magnetic readings of the earth where
the serpent
activity
angel
looks like a big snake. Exactly
Like
like
that,
that.
yeah.
It's like that where everything is tied to it. But
Yeah.
you can't just look at it from, you can't just look at just the angels or just the demons. You have to acknowledge all sides of it to be able to really channel into the true power behind it.
I find it
Also, in there's other religions. There's also, I think, shows you another couple of religions in the actual chapel as well. So that's interesting. That it shows other religions in the place.
See, that one's interesting. I was trying to figure out what that one was showing. I mean, it's obviously like a knight. Is it a knight? But then it's on a horse. But then there's like a child or something at the back. But what's he carrying? Is that a spear?
Looks more like a musket, really.
You've got to remember this. This was done in 1400s before. I mean, it's
1446. It was.
Well, there you go. So
there's been guns since around then.
Yep.
I just think these things have been left for a reason.
Yep.
Is it a warning?
Okay.
Is it a warning?
Belinda in the chat, if you want to highlight that, Chris, and read it out what she says.
I'm just going to get to Linda in the chat with it as well. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Dakota. I was in the pictures there. There's a video of a man being levitated while standing in the special part of the chapel. It was only slight, but there was an energy coming from the air. I've seen that on YouTube. I have been there. I was born in Lonehead. That's just near there. Huh? That's very interesting. Oh, there's, what's that, Nicole 727. They've been Rosslyn Chapel.
Was it a crazy energy? Did you feel the energy when you walked in? Just in case you're maybe sensitive, did you feel it?
I mean, I think the church was made more famous for obviously the Da Vinci Code. That's how it got out there a lot more.
Yeah.
But I'm going to bring it up, and I usually don't talk about them on obviously Go Scotland, but see, the UFO sightings have been off the scale near Rosslyn Chapel.
Yeah.
Now, is it because it's ley line? No, you can mention how you want. I mean, is it because of the ley lines? Is it because of the energy, or is there something buried there that they're so interested in and they want?
Yeah.
I think there's something buried there. I don't think it's the Holy Grail. I think it's something.
Is the Holy Grail actually an alien technical thing that they've got, which is technically the Holy Grail, isn't it?
It's like if you go back to the Solomon and the mines of Solomon and stuff like that, and King Solomon, you had the pyramids, and there was the golden. Dakota knows what I'm talking about. The gold pyramid. It was on top of one of the pyramids. And King Solomon came along and thought, oh, look at that, it's shiny. I'm having that and taking that. And then the Christians worshipped it because it had the name Jehovah on the side of it. Well, that's God, obviously, Jehovah's God. And then it disappeared, strangely enough, when the Knights Templars were raiding the Holy Lands and stuff. Is it there? It's somewhere. What's that in the chat? What was that? Played in the chapel grounds. I'll just bring that up now.
Do you know the funny thing is? I've not watched the film with the Da Vinci Code, but I have played the game and I completed the game. And do you know what one of the parts of the game was? In through the back, in the back of the chapel where there's pictures and things hanging up, you were to actually decipher codes and things to take you under it. So what was the game telling you the true way in?
I'm going to bring up some photos because I don't
I
think
like to watch
I've
the
showed you this
film.
one. Wait, the film's a really good film. Where's that photo? See, here's some of the markings around about the windows. And I find this quite interesting because it's made to represent wheat and corn.
Uh-huh.
You know, and obviously you've got the Curse of Oak Island and that, and they say this has got something to do with that because they found the same. They actually found, where are you? See that one that I showed you, the one with the, where are you? I think that's you there. They found him near Curse of Oak Island, a representation. It's kind of the same. You got to remember, see the Knights Templars they go about. They've been a lot of places. They say that they found America. Get what I mean? They were in Canadian land before it was just the native Indians that were there. But see, the Vikings, they were the same. The Vikings were known to explore the world. So is that maybe telling you something? Is maybe whatever was there has been moved to the new world?
That's one of the theories that's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with this one because it's resembling an angel, but with like is that a serpent running about it? It's no rope. I don't think it's rope.
I think that's just rope, Chris.
Do you think so? Is it
Yeah,
rope?
maybe.
Do you think that's rope, or do you think that's a serpent, Dakota?
I would need to
it's
see
not
the
got a
rest
head.
of the statue.
That's all I could find with that one. That's because there's just so many. There's, as I said,
They still represent the angels tied up, though. So,
aye, it's the cubes, and I think the cubes have got a part to play. I think there's things there to throw you off of what's really there. Do you know that? I think it is like a big puzzle. I think there's things to kind of throw you off the scent.
did you see the part in the chapel where there's actually like 3 pillars? Like these pillars you've got up just now, but there's like 3. And the man said it's as if, like if they were cogs rotating, that it would all fit in some sort of move. You know what I mean? Like it would lock into place. But trying to decipher where to lock it in, it would be a different story.
Yeah.
Is it a clue to what to walk in to open up the gates? You know?
Well, you've got the master pillar there, right? That's the master pillar. That's the master pillar. That's the story goes. I'll give you the quick story is the master mason was making a pillar, and he couldn't just get it right. So he decided, you know something, I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to tour all the chapels and churches. I'm going to learn. I'm going to come back, and I'm doing it. So he was away for 2 years, you know, because in the days they didn't have like international jets to take them about everywhere. But the trainee decided, you know something, I'm going to try that. So he got permission, and that's what he made. And when the master mason returned 2 years later, he's like, "Who made that?" And they're like, "Oh, it was your trainee," and he was in a rage of fat. He taken his mallet that he used, Ken stonemasons use, and beat the head of the trainee mason in and murdered them. That mason was hung by the neck until he was dead. He was killed for that. And did you know that I've not actually got the photo there, but the other masons that were in the chapel didn't think that was enough punishment for what that man did. So what they did is they copied the dead boy's face, like Ken out of stone, but they made it with a big crack across his head. For all time, people would know what happened to that.
Yeah.
You know? There's the tomb, which I find, you've seen it in obviously the Da Vinci Code, they go down, they find the tomb, and then they find it's the bloodline, and it's Ken, Jesus's bloodline and stuff. But as you go down in there, it's just like a square room with like a bricked up wall. It's see what fascinates me is a lot of like tombs and churches and stuff are sealed up. Right, you walk in and they're sealed up. The crypts are sealed up. Why is it open all the time?
I know.
It intrigues me, this too, with the star. I mean, it's
strange, isn't it? There's so much symbolism there. You would need to be really, really good with symbols and really look into the place. Spend hours in there.
You need to spend. See, I think that, why did they stop people from taking pictures in there? That's the only thing I wonder. There's people that obviously go in tours and they take pictures, right? But they get into trouble for it. You're not meant to take pictures, right? Why? Why do we have to buy the postcards and only look at the photos that they give us? Are they afraid that somebody learns something that might open it up?
Probably.
Well, there's a few different sites that come to mind where that rule is enforced. And the main thing is that a lot of them, something truly terrible actually took place. And for some reason, anytime they would try to do a recorder or take photos or even video, you would still hear the screams of the victims.
Oh, wow.
So, who's to say that modern cameras, obviously we have a lot more accessibility to it.
Yeah.
You start flashing the light around just right, you may accidentally open up something.
See, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I was on their website and they actually banned flash photography. It's quite interesting you say that. They banned flash photography. And because I was actually on that, it was a tourist website, and they're like, oh no, you can't take any more pictures. They don't allow it. They tell you to put your phone away. They tell you to turn your phone on to flight mode and stuff like that when you go in. And why? Is there a frequency in there that it might accidentally activate? It's we need to go there, but obviously I can't really take any videos inside it. We could probably take videos from outside it.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see if you could pick anything up, seeing like a spirit box of that in the outside. It's those cubes there. I think they're there for a purpose. They've got a purpose. But the purpose being, what is it? I mean, the music symbolism. You can see if you go into YouTube and search Rosslyn Chapel music, there's people actually taking the cubes and made music, and it makes you feel weird. It does make you feel weird. See if you're alert. See if you're like aware, and you're in tune with the spirit world and stuff like that. You feel really, really weird.
That's like people that's psychic and they stand on some flagpole and some part of the altar. They feel really weird and floaty and things. So there's definitely an energy.
See, that's quite weird. If you look at that, you've got like a triangle one with two lines running through it. Then you've got a triangle one with two little triangles in the middle. And then you've got the two lines again. Then the two little triangles. And then it totally changes to like something else, as if it's like a note. It's like a piece of musical note. But as I say, I don't know music. I mean, I tried to play the ukulele once, and my mum and dad
I don't know
it because it was that bad.
We plonk on a piano sometimes. That's it, or a guitar.
I was thinking, I don't know if it could be done if you could take all the cubes, right, and run it through an artificial intelligence, like software, and just leave it and just see what it comes up with. But that's why Dakota's here, because he's the kind of expert when it comes to that. Geez, I'll probably end up creating the Terminator or something like that. I have to do something like that.
It's a beautiful place, isn't it? I mean, it really is a beautiful place.
It is beautiful. It's stunning.
It's built like that because of the acoustics, isn't it? So that the acoustics of the place, it's centered.
but it's, do you not find that looks like musical notes, but obviously that they're arched?
Yep. That's what that man was saying. It's as if it all spun a certain way, as if it would all line up into a certain way and maybe open something. That's what he was trying to say. That it looks as if it could click into place, each cog.
Yeah, that's quite interesting what you say, Drew, because if you could arrange that, right, imagine you could arrange the ceiling it and then put it flat as if you're looking down on top of it, what it would look like, but make
That's
it
what
obviously
that
flat.
Can't remember his name.
There might be something there. There's probably people watching this that know. They're like, "Well, maybe he's right." There's actually that photo there. That's obviously a black and white one. It was taken a long time ago, and it actually shows you things a wee bit better because it is black and white. And obviously, it's right next to the X. It's right next to the entrance to the vault. I mean, it's got a meaning. Is that maybe the meaning? That's maybe DNA. That's the meaning of DNA.
I know.
Is you're walking down into the vault. And then obviously you've got the cubes again. And the wheel and the angels playing. What is that? Is that a flute, or is it because it's wide at the end? What would that be? That is a flute, isn't it?
Maybe or something. Maybe not a trumpet, but you know what I mean? Like these things that's the longer nose.
Clarinet.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's a hint to that frequency though, isn't it? Even if it's not that instrument, it's a hint to the frequency.
Play the tones. What's the chat saying? I'll leave that picture up for a couple of seconds. I'll just take it down now. I'll bring it back up in a minute. What's the chat saying? Yeah. It's my brother that's in there. I mean, it's.
Says, it is said that Sinclair's fashioned it on a temple in the Middle East, but died before completion. His son tried to get it finished, but it was too costly, I think, she says.
I've got the Rosslyn Chapel cubes thing in front of me here, and I see what she's saying. Got it here. It's the 215 cubes is quite interesting. Why 215? Why? I mean, 215 meaning has got angelic meaning.
Is there more notes than that? Like, is there more notes than 215? Or
attention to the Lady Choir section of the chapel is covered by 215 cubes, protecting the stem of the 14 arches, the crisscross and one other, and carved into each other cube are 13 geometric patterns, repeated throughout the entire 215 cubes. In this, sequelian patterns are only found conjecturally, but that's an interesting word, within one known science of cubematics. This is a kind of area I do not know what I'm talking about. As Dakota will kind of what I'm talking about. The patterns are also predicted very easily by laws of resonance and vibration. The use of some very basic materials which were readily available in medieval times.
Right.
And it goes there, it says the question on everybody's lips is why. The 15th century and apparently undiscovered science such as cymatics should have required such. I mean, that's quite heavy duty material. That's quite. That's even in today's standards. That's really.
Does sound like Templar stuff, doesn't it?
The carvings for all, with the help of my colleagues, Sir Richard Mavick and John. See, this is obviously like scientists that have actually studied this. a high degree. The first we have understood the reason for using chromatics in the 15th century. This is coming for two like top scholars. This is coming for people that work like MIT and stuff like that. They shouldn't have had that then.
Oh, look what Nicole found out. Nicole found out but the boys is the anaphale were variations of a type of straight medieval trumpet, usually made of metal, also called herald's trumpet. That's interesting.
Thank you very much, Nicole. For an instance, I'm just reading this really quickly. For an instance, the pattern produced by the interference pattern, and then it goes into the frequencies. The fundamental frequencies is 4.1 ratio to double octave harmonic series A, music harmonia, and the reversance pattern fifth 3.2, whatever that is. Because I don't know music, I don't know what I'm talking about. Obviously, Dakota, can you explain that? What does that mean?
You got to realize, Chris, I'm one of those musicians who doesn't know how to read sheet music but can play by ear. So for what you're wanting me to be able to tell you, I would have to physically stand in the middle of the place and basically start clapping my hands and listen to how it bounces.
Right.
Belinda says there was an experiment done with an amplifier and sand. They tried to copy the designs on the cubes. It's on YouTube.
That's right. It
was sand and water. Water react the same way.
Right. And what did they find out? Did they find anything out doing that?
Only that it made weird shapes. It made kind of weird shapes. And the shapes are the shapes that own some of the cubes.
Mystical Love and Light says it looks like inside a dragon's throat. I take it you were talking about the way the arches are.
Aye. It's right. I'm just trying to read this really quickly. See, then it goes on about cymatic geometry, about that's obviously going on about the cubes, how they're bent, everything like that. This is interesting. Not absolute other instruments that might play among this means that create music that compounds to the particular set of series of chromatics, geometries. Each instrument must be measured to determine its fundamental frequency. I think there's a tone there, there's music there that has to be written down and played.
Combine the shapes,
yeah.
Well, you know more than anybody what tones can do. I mean, look where the researches went in the last couple of years for this, even Rosslyn Chapel aside. Look where research on tones have took us. So who's to say that it's not the answer to a lot of these places' solutions, you know?
Well, the tetrahedron, Star of David, they are 2D representations. The shape they're trying to recreate is 3D.
Yeah.
And it's more than that. You know, it's Metatron's cube. It all goes into that. That's why I said you would physically need to stand in direct center of it and find out what frequency to hit all the cubes at once. See what happens.
I actually sent you the article, but I got that Dakota there, and it actually says here the music of the cubes was probably intended to be in the key of the fundamental frequency of the chapel's interior. This is determined as usually by setting up a microphone with a loudspeaker system and increasing the volume while pulling back frequency ranges on an equalizer, eliminating feedback frequencies, whatever this frequency turns out to be, reference key for the shape. So, and then it goes on again, the turning of the instruments, and then obviously change again to the next one, and then change again.
They're recommending the use of an equalizer because you would need people with some serious range and lungs to be able to do it in comparison to what was available at those times. So, like that particular angel statue with what looks like a flute. That's Gabriel's horn.
Is that what that is? Is that what
That's
that is?
Gabriel's horn.
Yeah, but reading the chat thing, I think that's what it's deciphering.
I don't think that's Gabriel's horn, but I've clicked on the wrong one.
No, that one.
I know. I'm just trying to fun it. I just can't fun it.
It just makes you wonder what that one is trying to say. I mean, what do you think that is trying to say?
Is it just me? Does he look like he's singing?
Do you know something? It could be like a bit of chalk he's holding, put it right on his stone.
He does look like he's. He does look like he's. What's that photo? I can't see my phone it now.
Yeah, see if he's maybe going to tell her to write everything down. You never know.
What's that? It's one of these things when you lose a photo. It was in there. That's weird. That.
How did the Vikings
just let me get through
write
them on.
things down? Did they write things down through on the walls and things, or how did they do their communication?
They had runes.
Runes.
Mostly oral tradition.
Could be another clue.
Then it's there.
To what text you have to use.
I mean, that Viking looks like he's singing. He's holding what looks like a tablet, but that thing that he's holding in his other hand doesn't look like it doesn't look like a piece of chalk. It looks like something else.
It's a bit big to be a piece of chalk or something, right?
I'll go back
What
to
do you think? What do you think it could be? Musical tones are also a language, mystical loving light said. Moses
that Viking's got a lot to tell. There's a lot of story there. Just sitting looking at him.
I mean, whereabouts in the chapel is he as well? Where he sits will be interesting to see. That's why you need to go there.
It's not a Viking, it's a moose.
Around. It's what?
It's Moses.
Oh, right. It's Moses.
It's
right.
So what is that then at the top then? Why does it look like he's wearing a Viking helmet? See, there's that many. That's the thing. There's just that many little bloody figures in there. There's that. There's that.
You need to go there and spend a couple of hours looking around. Because as you said, Chris, it's not all going to be online. There'll be things there that they've never been allowed to put out.
See, that's what I'm thinking, because maybe they're not allowed to take pictures in case you see something that's going online.
Right.
See, because I wanted to go there at Easter. Because it's only like £8 to get in. It's only like £7 to get in, and it's like an hour. You can walk about and all that. But then it said at the bottom. It says you're not allowed to take pictures. You can take pictures outside it, but you're not allowed to take pictures inside it. Why? What's it got to do? It's not as if I'm going to recreate Rosslyn Chapel in China or something like that.
Walk around and take notes. There's no stop you taking notes as you're walking around, I wouldn't assume. I would try and record. I would definitely try and have some sort of recorder going. To ask permission for the energies when you're there, though. You don't want something to curse you.
It's horns. Thank you very much, by the way, Linda Kennedy, for this, because I've not obviously just been reading off the internet and stuff like that. It's horns used to sign knowledge back in the day, holding the 10 Commandments.
And then the commandments and things.
See, that's...
But see, it's all placed.
But here's the I get a bit. Where's that again? Right, where's that picture again? Where are you? Do you not think he looks like he's whistling? Do you not think he looks like he's whistling? Or he's singing?
Could be.
Maybe there was 11 commandments, and that's where the 11th commandment is.
I actually looked at some of the original scriptures and never specified, so it was just 10.
Who's to say that? I mean,
so what was happening in the 14th century? The 14th century was when. Was that when religion and things was changing?
It was. Aye, it was. Let me look there. I've actually got it written down. 15th century. Let's have a look here. 15th century. We're just going to have a Wikipedia here to make life easier. The 15th century. Aye, it was during the kind of like holy wars and stuff like that. It's Frisco. There was loads of stuff happened that day in Europe. That includes parts of the late Middle Ages, early Resistance, Renaissance. Sorry, terrible read. Early modern period, technical, social, and cultural developments in the 15th century.
So it makes sense they would try and build a place then where they could hide relics and hide things that matter to their religion and things. So that would make perfect sense. But why Scotland then? Why here?
That's a good point. Just give us a sec here.
Was it because of those ley lines and the energies?
What was it?
There's something I've seen. I've got actually just keep talking among yourselves. And I've got something.
Okay, Chris. I think it's just shape of the beard, Chris. Dobie's saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was something I seen and I can't find it now. I mean, the Knights Templars, the 1300. It was the 1300s. The Knights Templars, right? So. What was happened in the 15th century? Was that the 100-Year War? Did that the 100-Year War no start or something like that in the 15th century?
Belinda says the castle is just a short walk down the glen. It looks small until you walk round the back under the bridge. It's big and creepy. Right.
Aye. That's what I did find interesting about Rosslyn Chapel. Is the amount of castles and forts and towers, castle forts round about it, is as if it was there for protection.
It's clear. There's something under it, or it's clear. There's something in it.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is the Grail. I don't think the Grail is what people think it is.
No, you do.
I mean. See, that's how the Masonic Lodge started up and stuff like that. It's famous. I know a lot of Masons, and they go to Rosslyn Chapel. And I was asked him, I says, well, why do you go there? And he says, oh, that's where it all started. And I'm like, what started? Oh, I can't tell you because you're not a Mason. And he looked.
I've heard a lot of people say that about Edinburgh.
It's where it all started, but we need to go there. I think it's the best idea.
I think we should go there and sense for self what we feel and have a good look at the stones.
I mean, look at that. It's just.
And we'll also go to the castle because if Rosslyn Castle's just right next to it, we might as well.
Yep. I think that's a destination for the summertime. A nice hot day.
Yeah.
And then you've got the ceiling. I mean, I would love to run this through an artificial intelligence. Could it be done, Dakota?
If you find the right program.
Make a program for it. Get that intelligent. Get somebody to do it.
You could actually get it so that it could just figure it out itself. Just let it run for how long it takes. And the more it does it, it'll just obviously it can do it quicker than a human can. That's that one.
Why did they build it to look like that as well? Why did they not build it just to look like a normal church or chapel? It's so spectacular. It's more like a cathedral.
Aye, you see, that's the thing. It's It doesn't look like a cathedral or that. That's the weird thing about it.
It's different.
It's meant for something else. It's got a different purpose. I know a lot of people that are into architecture and stuff like that, and I talk to them, and I always ask them about this building, and they say they've visited it and stuff like that, and they've told me, they say they don't know why it's like that. They don't know why it points in the wrong direction to be a church, because most churches, as I say, point in a certain direction. That one doesn't.
See, that's interesting. Everything's back to front or upside down. It's always showing the opposite of something.
Yeah. See, there's
So
a lot
is
of
the
detail
chapel
on
the
the outside.
balance in the middle? It's so strange.
They must have a meaning. They cubes must have a meaning, because why would you do it? I mean, you're a master mason, and you think to yourself, says, "Gain something, I'm going to make something ridiculously. I'm going to make folk think that these play tunes and all that kind of stuff." And then why would you do it? Why would you go to so much bother to do this? It'd be the joke of the century, but why? It's just, there's just something doesn't seem right.
It's hidden meaning, definitely. The fact that it never get finished the way it was supposed to be finished, there's clues missing.
Let's have a look at something there. Does that not look different? But that's the exit. That's the colour photo, and then there's what's missing for that, or is it the black and white showing up there?
Thing.
It does, doesn't it? The black and white one looks different. Or is it just because it's showing up more?
But remember, they did change some of it away back in 2003 for the film.
Aye, but they couldn't knock stuff down or anything like that, because that would...
Just thinking maybe the pictures from the film. What was my thinking?
It looks a wee bit different. Maybe it's just colour photos. It's a trick of the mind.
Mm-hmm. You walk down between two graveyards. The one on the right is really old. The one on the left is newish, creepy at night. Definitely.
I'm just going to change it back to the colour one now, because there's something about it. It must just be the way the light is. Is it?
Could very well be.
Aye, the black and white photo is a wee bit more over to the right, I would say.
Do you want to know what the difference is? See, in your black and white photo, you've got a standing candle holder. And in your other one, you've not got that. I think that's what the difference is. There's like a
but I'm looking at the back wall. The window looks different. The window looks totally different. In that one, you've got a picture of is it Jesus?
I'm looking at my phone screen, so it's tiny to me. This nose, Chris.
It just looks like there's more direct sunlight coming through the window.
More direct sunlight. I'm going to look at that after. Let's have a look at I'll just go to this one. It's that there. It's just why.
Who's are there?
That's obviously placed there to say, right, when you look at that, you're like, oh, he's playing a trumpet. And then you think to yourself, well, obviously that's got something to do with sound waves and stuff like that, because we obviously know that. The outside of the building...
other places in the world like this? Is there other places where...
No many. No. Hardly any, in fact, I don't think.
I believe there's some in South America that have similar ideas behind them.
What interests me is that's the clearest photo I could get to it. What is that round thing above the door?
What's with the eye?
Oh, that was where the film they had put a thing there, and when I was looking at that earlier, and all it is where they had made it look old. It's now green, and they just left it like that. It doesn't mean anything. It's just where in the film they had a symbol there. The documentary I watched was explaining that.
See, that's obviously I think of the cube when I see that, and
what do you think that actually is?
it's, I don't know what to say. Really, it's when you go to Dakota, you explain this while I get a drink of water.
Like I said before, the tetrahedron is nothing more than a 2D representation of Metatron's cube, which is actually a 5-dimensional shape.
Yeah.
You stand in the center of it, start clapping your hands, see what happens. Or get someone with a decent pair of lungs to start blowing a horn.
Right, when we go, Drew, we'll need to sneak you in with a horn.
Right, okay. I won't smoke that day, and I will scream at the top of my lungs. Whoa! Okay.
See, this is obviously like floor plans and the master pillar, which is that one at the bottom and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the outside of the building is even got weird, just weird. It's just
That's
damn right
the
weird.
strangest part about it, is all the symbolism around the outside. Some of it's good and some of it's bad, as you said earlier. It starts off good, and then it goes to like demon-y looking and things.
Just going to go to the chat to have a wee look at the chat. Where are we?
I can't. My computer's went off, guys.
I'll bring it on. What year was this built? Right, I think it was. What was it? Was it no?
It was built in 1446.
Right. See, I think there's been something there before it.
Probably. And it is 8 miles south of Edinburgh.
Where's that there? I was just wanted to see this. Oh, it was meant to be bigger. You can see the outside. That wing was either not finished or destroyed. That's
under
interesting.
the choir. See where the choir stand? It's said to have real relics buried under there. There's another note I took down. So that's interesting that there is actually noted real relics under there.
There's meant to be, what I've learned is there's people speculated that there's meant to be like tunnel systems. That's what I've learned, but obviously I don't know if it's true because I've never been there. See, that's where my family come from there. My grandmother came from Curry, which is I don't know about 20 mile up the road for it. But their family came from Rosslyn, which I find interesting and intriguing. But then again, it's only 45 miles for me. Rosslyn Chapel right now.
We used to go around.
It would take me 50 minutes to get there. It would only take me 50 minutes from where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah, mystical living light. I've heard that as well. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. There's a tunnel system under the churches.
I think Dakota's experienced some weirdness going on. Do you know your cat, is it?
Resembles a tree of life, all things healing. Thinks it looks like the tree of life a little.
I'll bring it back up again.
See, everybody sees symbols different as well, so it'll be interesting to see if you did go there, what symbols you actually could see yourself.
I would like to see the green men. I've always found them fascinating. See, that's I've not showed you that one.
Hinduism, paganism, and there was another one that they represent in the chapel. So is that giving you also clues of what religions to look up when you're deciphering some of these codes?
I've just noticed something in that black and white photo. Have you noticed the organ in the background?
Up the top?
Yeah, there's an organ up the top.
Right.
That's interesting. That I didn't know that was there. I
didn't know there was an organ in it.
You can see it. You can see it right up the very back at the.
That's interesting, then, isn't it? That there's actually an organ in there. Wow.
Don't
You
know,
need
don't know
somebody that can play the organ, an old church organ.
I'd be like Count Dracula.
I
Get a fright if the vault's opened up. A guy in a cape
know.
came out.
That'd be amazing though, wouldn't it? If something started creaking. You're like, oh no. Like something that what do you call that?
What's that there? There's
I
a.
remember.
Because I think there's a. Here we go. I'll just
Hang
bring
it
up
on.
Kennedy here. Oh, there's a blocked up tunnel entrance at the castle near the bottom of the bridge.
The bridge,
See, maybe they moved whatever was in there through the tunnel system, or that was a secret way in.
It could be blocked right in the middle, so nobody can get to it. Blocked either way.
I mean, even I don't know. You can rent the place out. You can rent the place out. Aye.
See if you could find out a halfway point in that tunnel. Maybe there would be some sort of energy because it was in the tunnel below you. Because they could have had something in there then blocked it up.
Yeah. I think what we need to do is we need to go to the location. We need to walk about. We need to take lots of pictures outside there, right?
Mhm.
We go inside, but we'll leave a recorder on.
Take meters as well, K2s and different things.
We'll be like ghost. We'll be like, what do you call it? Ghostbusters.
Have a device in each pocket. Recorders and
flashy
things.
lights. If they say it, they'll say, I'm hard of hearing, son.
Yeah.
But are you alright, Dakota? Because you disappeared there for a split second. Did you hear something strange?
I think it was a cat.
Gunshot.
Oh no.
God. Oh.
Goodness.
Or at least that's what it sounded like, but I'm not hearing anybody screaming, so.
I think the best thing to do here is we do a part 2 in this.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
And I think we'll give Dakota like some months or whatever, maybe like look into like music and the tones and stuff like that. Because I think I do think there's some similarities, and I think that if we could figure out the tone, imagine if you could figure out some tones and you went in there and played it, and then did something.
Ideally, you would need the place to yourself and to position the speaker exactly in the right spot.
Yep.
See, they do allow they do like events, but see if you're like important enough that they will let you walk around about it and take pictures and stuff. But obviously important enough.
Wait, Uncle Danny comes over.
You need to be like a celebrity before the day end like that, basically. Because I can do it because I've been reading into it.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think if we ever go there again after we've been there the first time, we need to take some of our celebrity friends. Maybe
I was going to say that we could invite Neil up.
Aye, that's what I was thinking.
He would be up for it.
Yeah, I
Neil,
think
if you're listening.
It's maybe a thing in the year he comes. Maybe Bonkers will do something with the church and a trip or whatever. But that's maybe in a couple of years' time or something like that. You know, there's Dakota going.
Well, let's see what kind of chaos the next couple months brings. First off, Chris.
God. Yeah.
It's the 2020s. All bets are off.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's set now. No more plans.
What's your name here? But you've clicked on that again. Right, here we go. Belina Kennedy. The castle on top looks like the house, the glory of the road. Can you need to get you on, Kennedy, if you wanted one night? Maybe interview you because you obviously know a lot more than we do.
Yeah, for sure. Come and
if you're interested, if you're on Facebook, if you join Ghost Squad Scotland Facebook page and message me or Drew through there or Dakota, we can maybe arrange you coming on the show one night if you want to talk about Rosslyn itself. You know, I think that'd be interesting. You know. So, guys, it is it's 11:15 at night. I turned into a munchkin at 12 o'clock. I couldn't help myself. Wait, man. Did you not see my plaster? I've got a plaster on.
What did you do?
It's like, oh, funny joke, guys. I was shaving with my shavy knife thing.
Oh.
I don't know why I did. I just thought it's sticking away like that, and it wasn't.
Oh,
There was
no.
like a wart or something. I mean,
Your cookie.
Anything from,
I don't have a wart in
anything
there.
from wart or ingrown. It happens, man.
And it wouldn't stop bleeding. It was like squirting out blood. I was like, oh my god! So I had to put a plaster.
Yes.
You're
Actually, I
talking
had
to the
this.
guy who's actually scalped himself shaving. So
Oh my god! Actually, it was funny, guys, because I get this shaving stuff, and it's like a wee pen. And it's like glue in the Pritt stick stuff,
Right.
and it stops bleeds. It wouldn't. It was sore as hell. It burns your skin.
yeah.
Blast yourself.
What's that? I'm disabled now, getting older. I'm older. All. Look at Dakota here. He's 126. Look at me. He looks young as anything.
Keep building up that karma, Chris. Keep building that up.
It's look. I have to say it. No, honestly, Dakota's actually the youngest out probably everybody in here tonight. You're probably the teenager of the bunch.
Well, I'll
You
be
know?
51 in May.
I'll be 42 this year, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you're a baby.
Like, yeah, I'm only 27, so.
My goodness.
My mystical love and light that I dabbed, it wouldn't stop bleeding. It wouldn't stop. An hour it bled for. And it just wouldn't stop. So I just put a plaster on it. See, my blood's awfully thin because I've got stuff around my blood and that. And it's awfully thin. It just wouldn't stop bleeding. It was terrible. But there you go. So, guys, there should be another video coming out next week sometimes because I'm trying to find places to go. Well, obviously, Rosslyn Castle and Rosslyn Chapel. We'll need to go there. But I'll leave that to the summertime because I'm not going to freeze. Because I think
The
the
weather
snow's
is
coming,
getting there in Scotland, guys. It is getting there. Slowly, but surely.
Slowly but surely. But there's some other churches I want to go to. But do you know what's been fascinating? See, the closer to Edinburgh I got with the churches, there's so much Masonic symbolism.
Yeah.
Like those weird kind of look like swords, but they're no swords. And that graveyard, that was mostly Masonic members in there. And
I'm going to see if there's a book you can buy with all the symbols in it for all the different graves. There better be a book or something out there with them all in it.
Was that just one night? Oh, you're in late. We're just about to go off. Just about to go off. So listen, guys, I would like to thank Dakota for coming on. Thank you very much, Dakota. I'd like to thank my co-host, Drew. Thank you very much for coming on. And remember, please visit Drew's Paranormal Vlog. Give her a subscribe. Please visit Dakota, because if you're into gaming, because I know there's some gamers in here, because I recognise some of these. Please subscribe to Dakota. If you want, Dakota, you can post your links in there if you want. Feel free. Give him a subscribe, because he does play Fable all the time. He was killing chickens. Terrible. I watched him the other night. He was playing Fable and he was killing chickens. You fed a big door a chicken. Terrible.
Yeah, that's how you were supposed to open it.
Oh my goodness.
He did. He was
What
chasing
kind of
after this
game's
chicken.
that? Something Mike would play.
But I will watch it later. Thank you. It'll be up. Obviously, it'll be also out in Drew's Paranormal Vlog. Probably on Friday or Saturday. And it's out in Bonkers too. So in loads of locations. So guys, thank you for coming. I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see you on Saturday and Sunday on Bonkers. Have a brilliant night. Bye guys.
Bye.
Blessings, everybody.